Hey, welcome into another episode of Halos in the Infield, the podcast version with your host, Todd Fox, and the other host of the show.
Fernando Mendez, still from New Jersey.
Yeah, if you're not watching the YouTube version, you're listening on the podcast, he's got the great smokestacks of Jersey behind him and that smell, the patented smell from New Jersey.
There you go. I was in New York yesterday. It doesn't get much better in New York. You said you've never been to New York, right?
No, I've never been. But I've heard that if you walk down certain streets, you can actually fall through a pothole. That's the rumor.
Yeah, right. You can walk down the street with some rats.
Yeah, they're as big as cats over there, aren't they?
I've seen one about the size of my foot. Yeah, and I mean, especially in the line of work I am. But surprisingly, like everyone tells me about how bad it is. Like all the clients that we have out here is really not that bad. Like I'm inside of like our clients, like facilities and stuff. I've never seen a single one. It's always just like on the street where I've seen them.
Oh, okay.
Or on the neighborhoods.
Or serving food in little taco trucks. Sometimes the rats are in there.
No, not even, dude. There's nowhere near as many taco trucks as you think there are.
Really?
Taco trucks, like hot dog vendors. Like there's a couple, but it's like LA has way more.
Oh, okay.
But it's all right, man. I'll take a bacon wrap hot dog from a hot dog vendor over Wiener Schnitzel any day.
You mean you don't like those processed hot dogs, man? Come on, man.
Dude, it's a funny story, and I won't stray too far along. I don't want to turn to that show. But one of those. but a couple weeks ago, we went to like Universal Studios, and then afterward, I was like, okay, well, we got to get something quick. And at this point, like I'd eaten out like literally like 14 days in a row because I'm always on the road. So all I ever crave is like home cooked meals. Everyone's like, dude, you get Benihana's all the time. And I had Margaritaville today. And people are like, dude, you eat like a king. And I'm like, bro, give me some spaghetti.
Yeah.
Give me some homemade spaghetti. Anyway, so my fiance was like, I don't care. Just go somewhere. The closest restaurant was Wiener Schnitzel. And I haven't had Wiener Schnitzel in like a decade. And we strode up there and she was like, what the heck are we going to get here? And I'm like, I don't care. I just ordered whatever on the menu. I was so disappointed. That food's so bad.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible, dude. Yeah, before we get into the baseball talk, which we will right now, I gotta say I'm not a fan of the Hoffy hot dogs at the stadium. I think the quality went down, bro. Like I used to like Angel hot dogs. They do not taste good, man. And I never thought I'd say this, but they have me hungering for a Dodger dog, and I hate Dodger dogs.
I used to love Dodger dogs, like when they were still decent. Yeah. I don't know who makes them now for them. They're not good anymore.
Well, they're not definitely Farmer John anymore. I think when Vince Scully left, they left as well. There's something else, but
Farmer John used to have the Angel dogs too.
Yeah, we used to have quality. So I knew when Hoffy came in, I'm all, wasn't that a bike back in the day? Well, I guess not. But anyway,
I'm all Angels. If you're listening. It's time to switch to hot dog. You know what? And I'll say this. Some people are going to come after me for this. Angel Stadium, underrated food. I'm not saying it's cream of the crop. I'm not saying it's the best in baseball. But the food in Angel Stadium is not that bad. That Big A burger stacks up with any fast food cheeseburger.
Yeah, you know what? You recommended that. James got me one, and we did that whole like taste test. And
tell me why.
Yeah, I was blown away, dude. That was really good.
It's real good. And the Angel Hot Chicken place they have there is good. The big cheese there on like the concourse level on the third base side, that place is pretty underrated. They used to where the what's there now? It was a Ballast Point for a minute. They used to have this like Angels chicken sandwich, and that was bomb. I don't think it's there anymore. And they used to have chicken wings.
Yeah,
those were also good. Angels wings.
Yeah, they had some pretty good spots. They've come and gone, but
and then they've had stinkers like they used to have Carl's Jr., Jack in the Box, like Panda Express. I'm like, why are these things here?
By the way, you're listening to Fox and Nando in the morning.
Yeah, dude, us with the morning show would be hilarious. We could just sit here and not talk about Angels baseball, and then one time be like, "Save one for tickets."
Yeah, exactly. Be like, oh yeah, there was a game last night, but yeah, there was a series the other day. There was a 2-game series, which started the homestand, and it was with the Texas Rangers, a team that currently we have a losing record against, and we didn't improve that as we finished this 2-game series. What happened in game 1? We're going to break it down, and then we're going to get into Toronto when we finish up everything.
So Noah Syndergaard had a hell of a game. on what was that,
Mhm.
Tuesday.
Yes.
So 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned, no walks. That's the biggest number there. 5 strikeouts and a home run. He improved to a season best 3.08 ERA.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say season best, but
Do you think he should have finished that game out?
I think you should have had an opportunity to, because then you had the super looper come and drop a super pooper.
Fruit Looper went in there and gave up 3 runs.
Games are canceled again.
But it's all how you take it. I meant the cereal.
Oh, okay, here we go.
But no, I mean, like, look, um, we you saw what Syndergaard. I love his words before the game. He was pissed off. He said, "Hey, what happened in Texas is something that doesn't happen to me a lot. I screwed up. It's on me. I'm going to come out with here with a best performance or one of my best performance." And credit to him, he did. He came out there and pitched his ass off. He held Texas in under control the entire game. The Angels seemed to do just enough to get some runs. Walsh went deep, which was good to see. And the Angels put up a 5 spot before you know it, and they cruised to victory to the end. And only problem is Iglesias had to come in there and nail down a save, but he's looked better. But impressions on Loop, man. Is there something that he's not doing mechanically? I mean, because he's all of a sudden gone from unhittable to hittable.
I mean, I watched that game or I listened to that game on the radio, so I don't exactly get to see his delivery. I mean, that'd be a good question to ask someone like Ace. She knows baseball like the back of, Joe Madden's bong. Not the way she knows Joe Madden's bong, but I'm sure the way Joe Madden knows his own bong.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But I mean, clearly something's up. And unfortunately, that's kind of been the trend lately with the Angels bullpen.
Mhm.
There's really been nobody who's been untouchable over the last, 2-3 weeks. Everyone's kind of had their faults. Everyone's kind of had their issues. Even Rysell got roughed up, but this time, he came in for a 1 out, got the save.
And they move on, get the W against the Texas Rangers, where at that point they were 3-4 against Texas. Now, Texas has played better in this month or in the month of May. Coming through here, Texas has gotten themselves actually, as we speak right now, they are in 3rd place. Not what we expected. So they're playing much better baseball. Oakland's in 4th, and Seattle has dropped to 5th, which we kind of flip-flopped that one. We had Seattle, both of us had them finishing 3rd.
Yeah, well, you had them go being a good team this year. You're like, they're going to be sneaky. So as of right now, you're eating crow on that one. But it's still early for all of us, right? It's still early for.
Well, yeah. I mean, they made those trades for those 2 hitters from the third baseman, I believe the outfielder for the Reds, Winkler or something like that. And then
Winkler.
The third baseman. Those are guys that were hitting 20 to 34 bombs last year. And right away, this year, they're both batting like under 200, minuscule numbers. That whole lineup is like, I think they have 7 guys under 200. I mean, that's really bad.
They are struggling, to say the least. But I mean, hey, no skin on my nose. Go ahead. We signed Justin Upton. That's great. That's cool. That's cute.
Yeah, he can hit 200 as well over there. But, yeah, he'll be a career.
When he's hot.
Yeah, when he's hot. Yeah, there you go.
When he's leading off.
He'll be leading the team with hitting if he does that over there. 220 or something. Shit.
Hell yeah, as a leadoff hitter.
Yeah. So,
and we finally got something up on Dunning. We finally gave Dunning an L.
Yes, we did. That was the 3rd start. We've already seen him this year. I think he was 1-0 against us in a no decision. So even in the game where he got roughed up early in the game, I think the first time we faced him, he wound up blasting 6 innings because he pitched through it. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, good start for Syndergaard. He shows you what he can give you, and gets his 4th win of the season. He's still 1 behind the team lead, which is Lorenzen with 5. And that set us up for a start on Wednesday, which was Reed Detmers versus some guy. I forgot the name of the Texas Ranger guy.
Otto?
Yeah, there you go, Otto. So this was one going into it, bro. I really thought, okay, he had a stinker last time, like in Texas. I thought Reed would do the same thing Syndergaard did. Not exactly give you 8 innings or whatever, but I thought he'd give you 6 innings and hold you down to like 2 or 3 runs and give the team an opportunity to win.
Yeah, here's the part where everyone blames me and says because I compared him to Dallas Braden. Well, it's because you compared him to that guy with the beard.
Well, I mean, he's always asking for change, so I mean, we're not.
He's like, I thought he was homeless. You just walk over to you walk over and give him like $2. Here you go, man. It's like, I'm
know
not
what?
homeless.
I'll be like, all right, we get you. You're not homeless. You're just a house. What's that called? House depraved right now. We'll give you some
Deprived.
at Walmart. Yeah.
I'm like, you're just too busy catching possums in the Oakland Coliseum.
No, he's actually going after the seagulls that, after the game, they fly in and they go after the food left in the stands. So yeah.
Dude, I went to Atlantic City today, and I'm just like, who on earth would ever come here? It's
Dude,
the same thing. There was like just seagulls galore.
See, I heard that place was, well, back in the day, that was the Vegas of the East Coast. So
Yeah, well, it's definitely not now.
to see what it is now, I've seen videos of it. Man, you ain't lying.
Yeah, that was very depressing. See, like you go to Vegas and the city's aglow and it's popping. Like even when it's dull, because there's nobody there, it feels like Vegas. And you go here and it's like, whoa, it's like the Walmart Vegas.
Oh yeah.
It's like Las Vegas is like Disneyland,
Mhm.
and Atlantic City is like Knott's Berry Farm.
I think you're putting down Knott's Berry Farm right there, dude.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Adventure City.
There you go. With a one roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. Paulie D was here one time.
It's an old faded picture of Paulie D up there. Oh man. So getting into it, what happened in that Angels game with Otto?
Well, the Rangers ended up winning the game. Reed Detmer only pitched 6 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned. Walked 1, which the walk numbers are still pretty good. 3 strikeouts and gave up 2 home runs. Mike Myers made his last start in theory, or last bullpen appearance in theory as an Angel, since he has then been DFA'd. I'm sure we'll get to that. And then Bradley came back for his first appearance off the IL.
Are you digging the 2 earrings?
From Bradley?
Yeah.
Hey man, whatever makes you pitch better.
I mean, it's okay, but I mean, they're trying to bring back the '80s look, because I had a waiter, not to go off topic again because we're not that show, but we're gonna do that since it was a 2-game series.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I had a waiter with those long Barry Bonds type earrings, and I'm like, okay, it's not that it represents something to me. It's just like, man, they're bringing back the '80s. You know what I mean? So I wonder if we're gonna get all those weird '80s styles back again. Because if that's the case, I kind of dig that. I kind of got, when I was growing up and I started noticing fashion, that stuff was already faded out or just about faded out. So yeah, bringing back the '80s would be kind of cool for me. So sidebar right there.
Yeah, I'm an old man Todd. Here he is. He's back.
Dick.
Yeah. Hey, I had to. But honestly, man, I don't care, man. Just go out there and pitch. You know what I mean? Whatever makes you feel yourself, cool, man. You go for it. You be you, brother.
And he did pretty good though. He pitched pretty good. That solid inning.
He did.
Yeah.
He looked sharp, especially coming off of an injury and off of only 1 appearance in the Little Empire. Or did he do 2?
I think 1.
Yeah, I believe it was 1 also. I mean, but hey, he looked good. He looked sharp. He looked like he trusted him stuff. He looked like he wasn't afraid to, get, to re-aggravate anything.
It's another option for Madden to throw late in the game. If maybe a guy like Tepera's thrown too much or Loop's thrown too much, he can go with Bradley in the setup or the 7th inning type dude. So
yeah, I already brought it up. Mike Myers. Let's talk about that. Mike Myers getting DFA'd. What do you think?
I think he has so much potential. I think we saw it 2 years ago. I think we saw it last year with his home and away, how effective he was. But I think what it comes down to is literally we talk about it a lot about pitchers having a role. And he is definitely one of those pitchers that needs a role. He is ineffective when just being plucked to come in the 6th inning, plucked to come in a 6-run lead or deficit. He has to know when he's going to come in, what situation, I think, for him to be effective. And when he's not, you get the Mike Myers you got the other night.
Yeah, he's kind of a man without a mission, right?
Yep.
Like you said, he kind of gets thrown in there for all kinds of different things. You're the mop-up guy today. You're the 6th inning guy today. Oh, we need you to go into the 8th. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think there's a lot of bullpen guys who have to be in roles, maybe just because there's just certain ways their brain operate.
Yep.
For instance, when Rysel goes up there just to get some work in for cleanup duty, he's not good.
Yep.
But when he's used in a save situation, that's his element. He's dominant most of the time. 9 times out of 10, he's probably going to get the save.
Exactly.
I mean, he blew 5 or 6 saves last year. That's a lot better than what we had years ago, like in 2020.
And
so, I think these guys need somewhere where they can be consistent.
Absolutely. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But like a guy, like I would say that's the exact opposite of Myers is Herget. Herget, you could start him. You can close. You can middle relief. You can mop up a lot of stuff. He's that dude, and he's got that mentality of I don't care what it is. I'm just going to get an out. But Myers seems to be like, okay, I need to get productive outs. I need to get big time outs. And I think when he's in there, he just doesn't have his head wrapped into it, and he looks like a different pitcher.
The problem with Jimmy Herget is he's the exception, not the rule.
Okay. True.
Yeah. So, Jimmy Herget is real good. Yeah, I mean, we've seen him get saves this year. We've seen him pitch 2 or 3 innings. We've seen him start games. Mm-hmm. So, hey, we'll take that.
Absolutely. And I think now we have other guys like I'm really excited to see Quijada. I really liked it. I liked his delivery in spring training. I mean, it looked electric. And he had a stutter, like sort of like Robles a couple of years ago, where he would stop and then do a quick pitch. So he's adding things to his repertoire, and they really liked him coming out of spring. But he had that little side injury that sat him so far the first couple months of the season. But he's super close to coming back. He's looking good in Salt Lake. And then we're also, like you've been telling me over and over every show, man, and it's with good saying is that Buttrey's getting close. His fastball's getting faster. He's utilized his pitches a lot better.
He's about 96, 97 right now. So his fastball's getting back up there.
Geez, so those are 2 power pitchers that'll join this already good, talented bullpen.
Yeah, and the other thing that people are forgetting about is the fact that we have guys down there who sure were just drafted last year, but they have what it takes to come up here and make an impact out of the bullpen. Sam Bachman can come up here and give you some innings, just like Frankie did I was going to say a couple years ago. Crazy to think it was 2 decades ago.
Jeez, yeah, that's true. Time has flown by, and I think didn't he just retire too? Think about it, Frankie Rodriguez.
He retired maybe like 3-4 years ago. I'll look it up real quickly.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I remember he was pitching with several different teams at the end of his career. He was bouncing around with Milwaukee, the Mets. He pitched with I forget Detroit at one point. He was a part of their postseason run. It was I guarantee you, for a lot of Angel fans, it was hard to see.
2017.
2017. It was hard to see him leave this organization and go somewhere else and flourish. I mean, that was our guy. You know what I mean? Like he was so big in that year.
He is eligible, I believe, this year to be a Hall of Famer?
After this year, right?
It's 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, did he finish the 17 season or did he retire?
He finished the 17 season.
Oh, so then he'll be eligible 23 then.
Okay. Yeah, man, he needs to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, I've asked that question on the question of the day before, and half the people are super yup, and the other half are like, no, he doesn't deserve it. He's a closer.
Well,
I'm sure you can figure out the age demographics that feel each way.
Yes. but doesn't he have comparable numbers to Lee Arthur Smith? Because if he's anywhere close to Lee Arthur Smith, he should be getting in. And same with I don't think he touches Mariano Rivera. He may get close. But
he's got Hall of Fame numbers. All right, so Lee Smith,
because Lee Arthur's in, and I think he got in because of longevity. Like Lee Arthur pitched for a lot of teams, even the Angels at one point. Like he was a mentor for Troy Percival.
Let's see. I don't know why it opened it up like this.
But Lee Arthur was is definitely a pitcher that made the Hall of Fame, and if he has numbers like that, then they're letting in closers. Isn't Brad Wagner in there too?
I believe so. So 478 saves, 1,133 innings pitched, and where is his ERA? Career ERA of 303.
Okay, what's Frankie's?
Definitely. Okay, so Frankie's a career ERA of 2.86.
Better.
52 total wins. I already said career ERA, and he had 437 saves.
Yeah, he should get in. It's Hall of Fame.
He's in.
He's
I
in.
I don't see how he shouldn't be. And if he does not go in as an Angel, I'll be so pissed. 7 years as an Angel, 5 years as a Brewer, 3 years as a Met, 2 years as a Tiger, 1 year as an Oriole. He's got to go in as an Angel,
Yeah,
especially because he won a championship with the Angels.
yeah. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't he on the Detroit team that went to the World Series versus the
I
Cardinals?
believe he was because it was 16, 17.
Yes. Yeah, that was interesting.
He won. So, of course, a champion in 2002, 6-time All Star, 2-time Rollins Relief Pitcher of the Year.
Yeah, I think you get in because it's Billy Wagner, not Brad Wagner, but Billy Wagner, I think had comparable stats to that too, or I think he might have passed Wagner as well, because I know Frankie was climbing the all time saves record, and I believe Mariano passed Lee Arthur, if I'm not mistaken. I think
Mariano Rivera is the all-time saves leader.
Yeah. So I think Mariano's got like 5 something, if I'm not mistaken.
Billy Wagner has 422 saves and a career ERA, and everyone's like rolling their eyes like ERA is not the most important stat. Like, but I mean, it matters here. 231 ERA, but I mean, still comparable.
Yeah, it is still comparable, and I think they go by strikeouts too. I think Wagner had a lot of strikeouts per innings pitched, and Rodriguez did too. I think he had more strikeouts per innings pitched than Lee Arthur. So
1,196 for Wagner. Let's see, Frankie 1,142.
mm-hmm.
So yep.
Yeah. So you're looking at two. You're absolutely correct with your assessment of Rodriguez. I'm with you. Rodriguez deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. You just put him up against Billy Wagner and Lee Arthur, comparable stats, if not the same.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about him being compared to Trevor Hoffman or, Mariano Rivera. Those guys were the best of the best. They were the two GOATs when it comes to closers.
Yep.
Will there ever be anybody like those two? I don't know. I honestly hesitate to say that. I mean, you can't just look at someone and be like, yep, they're going to get, 700 saves.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get 600 saves. That's not something that's normal.
Yeah, exactly.
And we got a little spoiled by it because in our lifetimes, we saw it twice.
Yeah. And the Angels had, back-to-back closers that were dominant for years, Troy Percival, and then you had Frankie Rodriguez right into it, before you started getting to the lesser closers that came through the system after that.
Houston Street.
Yeah. Ryan Puentes.
Ernesto Frieri.
Yeah, the list goes on.
Guys who were maybe average, but they weren't dominant, especially not compared to those two guys.
Oh yeah. Those guys, they were set apart, But
so,
yeah.
No. I was gonna change the topic. So if you have anything to finish off here,
no, I'm good. Go for it.
Okay, so I was gonna say. So that's basically it for the series.
Mm-hmm.
It was a short 2-game series.
Mm-hmm.
So how about instead of covering the series to come against the Blue Jays, it's going to be a good series. We hope for it. The Angels are going to finally have some real competition here against a very good team. All right, so instead of diving into that, let's instead talk about like the two biggest topics right out hand. Number one, what happened with Mayor Harry Sadu? Why am I bringing the Anaheim mayor resigning? Well, because it does directly have to do with the Angels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the corruption. He was involved in a lot of shady deals, a lot of kickbacks, and the FBI investigated local law enforcement, and he had to resign, like you said. And now, the names that's been thrown around because of the big wigs that are involved with this, the city leaders and everything, are one Arte Moreno, and the deal that was made with the city of Anaheim. There's speculation that, and I'll say this again, speculation that Arte gave kickbacks to the mayor to finalize that deal. Because if you think about the amount of money that teams are paying cities for property, and the money that Arte gave and proposed to the city of Anaheim, which was passed and then taken off the table twice, investigated twice, that is chump change. Paying for all that. I mean, paying only 300 and some odd million for the land, and then just promising to put up affordable housing, but you're going to be getting all this other perks. There was definitely, I don't know why. If this is coming down to Arte being guilty with this, or compromising the city of Anaheim and doing something shady, how do you expect to get away with this? Did he think that no one was going to look at this? This looks shady from the outside perspective, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I won't say who on our team, has a specific job where he kind of deals with, or he's seen a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he's done some research, and he's the one saying, "Man, Arte Moreno's probably in some pretty big trouble here." And I think you and I were told it'd be roughly what 5 to 6 years in prison.
Yeah, it could be a federal. I don't know if it's called racketeering, if that's part of it, or it's something embezzlement, or I don't know. No, embezzlement is different. but yeah, he's definitely facing some federal charges.
Yeah, and there's still details to come. Maybe he covered up his footprints. Maybe it was like, oh, it was a donation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't exactly know what was worked out. You would like to think that they probably try to cover up their footprints, right?
Hmm. Well, I think it could be as severe, like you said, of getting a 5 to 6 year term. Probably one with good behavior, if that, or house arrest or whatever. But he could lose out on the team. You could have one of these things where, okay, the league is embarrassed by the shady goings on by your organization, and if you're found guilty, that just is another black eye on Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And we've seen how Manfred takes the law into his own hands. Imagine something like this. What if he gets the rest of the owners together and say, "Hey, this is a bad look. We need to make a change." Then what?
It's the fact that this isn't the first time either. I mean, what we had the whole Tyler Skaggs thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that came along with that. We had the Mickey Callaway situation, right, where this was the worst kept secret in sports, and I put that in air quotes because those were the quotes.
Yeah.
They said everyone knew he was doing this. Everyone knew he was a sleazeball. You know what I mean? And all this stuff has happened within the last 3 years, and that's just the stuff we know about. Who knows what's happened in the past that maybe wasn't covered by some of our spineless media. You know what I mean? And this is just the stuff that's coming to the surface now. And like I said, this is the kind of stuff that we are going to report because it's our job as a podcast, as a non-paid government, as a non-paid entity from the team. We have to report the stuff. Are we going to try to stick with the facts? Absolutely. As of right now, we're not saying that Arte Moreno is getting arrested. We're saying it does not look good. There is an opportunity here that he did, participate in some corruption by paying to expedite the process in which the vote took place, and B, he's involved in the city, like Todd said, knowing that the minimum amount of affordable housing wasn't being met.
Mm-hmm. They've got there's so many layers to this thing, and then me and Fernando were talking prior to the show about the whole Long Beach thing, and Long Beach is not just throwing it out there to throw it out there. They know that there's some major issues coming up, and just to throw their hat in the ring and say, hey, you know what? Look, at Long Beach could be an option. If ownership changes or if Artie needs an escape plan, we'll be happy to host you down here in Long Beach. Some Anaheim fans scoff at that, but you never know. Things could happen. We've seen in the past with other professional franchises, the Sacramento Kings almost moved to Anaheim to play in the Arrowhead Pond. The Clippers almost moved there. Things can happen in a blink of an eye, and those cities save their teams in the last second. So you never know what could happen. We all thought that the ownership for the Clippers would never change. Ballmer came in, took it. They got rid of him. Things can happen in the NFL. They've happened in different sports. Major League Baseball is no different. Marge Schott was taken out for racist comments for the Reds years ago. So things can happen. You get into trouble, it's a bad for business type deal. They'll make a change because in the end, if it's costing them money, you're not worth it. You're only worth it if you're making the organization and the baseball as a whole, the sport as a whole, money. If you're detracting from their bottom line, I don't care how good you are or how cool you are with the rest of the owners, they'll get rid of you. So this is something that, like Fernando brought up, the other stuff that's been piling on. It's been just a couple to 3 years worth of bad reputation and news for the Angels. And it's mostly been off the field stuff and scandals. So you never know, man. We're just gonna have to go through. Right now they're doing the litigation, or what is it? The
Investigation.
The investigation.
The FBI investigation.
The civil suit with Skaggs is going on at the same time.
No.
So
And this is on top of the Angels meeting the bare minimum for minor league organizations.
Yep.
Which everyone's like, well, hey, they're meeting the minimum. Dude, the Angels have already fallen behind in that.
Mm-hmm.
Every other team except for the Angels and the Astros in our division is overcompensating their minor leaguers. Hey, we'll give you your own room. The Angels are like, oh, we need to have 2 twin beds in each room. Bet we got you 2 twin beds. How much you want to bet? They're probably used mattresses, and so that's the bare minimum. So that is what they're offering. The Angels did not pay for extended spring training. The other organizations in the AL West did.
Yeah, it's bad when
That's an awful lot.
When Oakland is out paying you. That's something to say. And
in both categories.
Yeah, the only thing is, it's like, hey man, do I get a single bed? One of the Angels minor leaguers asked. He's like, oh sure you do. Do you want the race car or the dune buggy?
Or do you want the Barbie one?
The Barbie one, yeah. I'll take the Barbie convertible.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if it's not a bunk bed, I'm pretty sure that's what they're getting.
Even better, the bunk bed. They'll be like stepbrothers.
I got dibs on top bunk.
Yeah, right.
But
our boy Kenny Rosenberg's on the top bunk, and you got Kai Bush at the bottom. It just kind of collapsed. He's like, "Oh my god!"
Hey, Kai Bush is, because he's so tall, his feet are hanging over the side.
Yeah, right there on the IL, and you're like, "What's the injury, man? Is it? I hope it's not an arm thing." Bunk bed fell on top of him.
That's the third one this week.
Bruised face.
Oh man, yeah, it's a sad sort of affairs. And again, like Fernando, if you hadn't brought this to the light last year when we started this podcast, we would have never known. Another guy, you got a hand on, or you got to talking to some of the other players, Buttrey, and a few others. Was it Kyle Lovegrove? I know I'm killing his name. The one that was talking to us last year, Lovegrove.
Kieran Lovegrove.
There you go, Kieran Lovegrove. Yeah, having conversations with them. If you haven't got a chance to listen to our podcast, go back to that one. Kieran and Ty really explained exactly what was going on, how their experiences were in the minors. So it was good to check in with them, and that was eye opening. And that was before everything hit the fan. So, yeah, we're looking for things to be better. And right when you think, okay, maybe they're going to put this Skaggs thing behind us, they'll do the right thing. They'll pay them off. They'll take care of their family. They'll donate to their foundation. They don't do it. It goes through court. And then you get the criminal suit against the guy who was giving away drugs. You deal with him. And now you got this thing with Arte and the stadium mix up. It's like, wow. And the whole time, this team's trying to get to the playoffs for the first time in 7 years.
Yeah. I mean, there's an awful lot going on right now. I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out. And like you said, and we're not even done with this Skaggs trial.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one thing after another. So I don't know. I mean, the fan base has already turned on Arte Moreno. It's happened over the last couple of years, and I think it's only gotten worse since, like, what do you think, coronavirus?
Yes.
That's kind of what sparked up everything, because he wasn't paying the staff, the game day staff, he wasn't paying the minor leaguers. All this stuff came up, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. It was bad enough when Tyler Skaggs, tragically passed.
Mm-hmm.
And then as more and more details came out, it got worse. And then as soon as we found out that he wasn't settling and he's going to go to court, you know what I mean? Man.
Yeah, and I mean, especially when you got lawyers sitting there saying, well, they're fighting a losing battle. They've got all kinds. I mean, they should have settled out of court. And like you said, not paying these people that have been with you for years. And you wouldn't think that none of these organizations like the Daily Wire or ESPN or Fox Sports or whoever covers baseball wouldn't make these articles saying, oh, here are the list of teams that are paying their employees while COVID restrictions are on. And here's the ones that aren't. And lo and behold, the top one was the Angels. And it's like, dude, like, do you not know this is going to come out? I mean, just do the right thing. And I don't think that do the right thing motto is anything that Arte has ever based his life or decision-making on.
Nope. No, I mean, I don't think he's a good person, to be honest with you. I just don't. I've never met him. Mm-hmm. I can't completely make up my mind because I haven't met him, and that would be unfair. But I mean, just seeing the things we have seen kind of tells you everything you need to know. If I had the money to pay my people during a global pandemic when everybody was scared, I would pay my people. Why? Because when everything's over, I would like them to come back to work, and people are going to have a bad taste in their mouth, and they're going to go find another job, and then you're going to be screwed. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. Working at a stadium selling peanuts, probably not the most appealing job to a lot of people. That was my dream job as a kid, to be honest with you. That's
Mhm.
funny. Before I understood the concept of money, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to sell peanuts at a stadium.
Here, I'll be like, I'm the best damn peanut salesman they've got.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like growing up, everyone's like, "Oh, I want to, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a doctor. I want to be in the military." You know what I mean? You hear all
Yeah.
just the normal stuff, and then here I was, I want to be a peanut vendor, and everyone used to think it was like hilarious.
You'd probably be one of those guys that was so ambitious that when someone ordered like something halfway down the aisle, you're doing like a wrap around your back pass to try to get it down to him on the aisle instead of passing it down. Like you're doing some goofy stuff like juggling and then
Oh
throwing.
yeah, hey, I was a quarterback in high school.
See, there you go. I knew it. But yeah, I mean, this whole thing, and hopefully will change as we move forward, as they get to the bottom of things. But it's going to be in the limelight. It might deter from what the Angels are doing on the field, and what I don't want it to do is to deter guys like Otani from staying and guys like
Yep.
Trout from staying. You know, it's going to be hard for these guys to push on because at some point the media, although not our media, like you said, because they're soft, but the media from other cities is going to be like, hey, man, what's the story with Artie Moreno? And they're going to have to start answering that.
Of course. Yeah, it's let's see what happens. This could very easily take Artie down with him.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll cover the story as best as we can.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, and the last thing I'm going to say about it is if he survives all this, the damn dude's Teflon. Nothing's taking him away, dude. Nothing.
Ever.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna live till he's 206. Yep. Come on. Death is nothing to him.
Yeah, that's true, dude. I don't see anything taking him
And when
down.
he dies, he's coming back and taking the team back.
He's like, yoink.
Artie's ghost.
Oh man. All right, what do you want to just name the pitchers we got for Toronto, or do you got anything else going on right now? Or
Let's see. I mean, so Jose Rojas getting DFA'd. What do you think about that?
I think that was a little too early, but I think they blew through his options last year, which hurt the team. They sent him up and down so many damn times. They could have used a couple more of those this year.
Didn't he have one more option?
No, that was
they used an option this time, and they used an option last year.
yeah. I mean, they blew through all his options, dude. He actually would have been perfect to play the other day. I mean, we saw what happened with Wade out there in right field.
What bounced out of his glove?
Yeah, one bounced out of his glove. He threw a horrible throw into second base that it actually hit the bag. Like it didn't get to anybody. He lost the ball in the lights 3 times. Renifo had to run into right field to catch it. And then the other thing is, what do you think about Kurt Suzuki and his 3 hoppers to second base?
Prime Suzuki. There you go. Put him in, coach. He's ready.
Dude, Renifo tried to catch those on the 3 hop and was like, okay, let me try to make it look like it was close. And it was like way too late.
I don't know how this guy still has a job, man. I'm not over here to try to call for people's jobs, and it's not fair to me to do that. But man, I mean, I thought what Wallach was bringing to the table was better than a 3 hopper that Kurt Suzuki is, providing. Like I told you, I honestly don't understand why they brought him back. They say it's because he was a good locker room guy, but I mean, really, was he that good where it's worth keeping a 200 hitter at his ceiling who can't even throw the ball to second base, which unfortunately is his job? It's like having a pitcher who can't throw a ball to the home plate. It's like having Rick Ankiel after he had his mental situation where he couldn't pitch anymore.
It's true. And that's the thing too with him. I look at the way they've been catching games, and Stassi's been doing his thing when he's not hurt, like he always is during the regular season. But
Randy was right.
Yeah. And when Wallach was in there, look at the pitching staff, dude. Did he have a game where he was in there where they gave up a lot of runs? No. He caught a really good game every time he was in there. Now Wallach's bat hasn't blossomed like we thought, but he's still putting the ball in play. There's a feeling that his bat will turn around. But I'd much rather have him out there struggling, knowing that I got a 30-year-old out there trying to find his way with a bat and can throw guys out, than a guy that can't do anything, and he's subpar in everything he does.
I believe you said it before, man. Chad Wallach, yeah, he's 30 years old, but he's closer to his prime than Suzuki is. Suzuki's, you know, pushing 40 here.
Yeah,
What, 38, 39?
going to be 39 here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he's pushing 40.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, why are we having a guy who has his best years behind him? At least Wallach has an opportunity to still learn and adapt to the game.
Exactly. So we'll just have to see what happens with that in the next coming days. Like, how long will Madden stick with Suzuki? And then my question to you, bro, you saw the revert now to Otani lead off and Trout second, again resting Walsh against lefties. Your thoughts about the lineup and what Madden's doing? I want to hear what you think with the first 5 or 6 positions in that lineup.
I want a little bit more consistency, man, in the lineup. I mean, I don't like Otani at leadoff. We never have. You know, Trout batting second, I don't like either, but I'd rather have him at second than Otani at first.
Mhm.
You know, at least in theory, at that point, he has an opportunity to drive in runs. Otani, Trout, and Rendon's main job is to drive in runs, correct?
Mhm.
So why are we putting him in situations, any of them, where you're not, where you don't have the best opportunity to drive in runs? We're not paying these guys what we're paying them. Granted, Otani's only getting a couple $1 million. You know, it's Rendon and Trout who are making the big bucks. Those guys combined are making what, $60 million if plus?
Yeah, pretty much.
For $60 million, you better be driving in runs for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, Rendon at third's fine. I mean, that's kind of where you want him. Honestly, if anything, I would probably have Rendon bat second, Trout bat third, Otani bat fourth. That's just me. And then I've always been a big fan of having a speedy guy bat first. You know, maybe a Luis Rengifo while we wait for Taylor Ward to come back. At least Rengifo can bunt a ball, get on base.
All right. And then one other question to go along with that. Let's just say we're in the position that we are. We don't know when, you know, our boy Fletch is coming back exactly, if he's going to be the same. You got Renifo as an option. Wade, you still got Velasquez not really hitting. Let's just say they have the Ward and those other 4 hitters in the first 5. You want more of a traditional 1-2 or at least a leadoff guy. What if the option to go to get a leadoff guy is from another team in the trade deadline, to get someone speedy, a high on base percentage type dude, walks a lot when he's not getting hits? Do you see anybody out there that the Angels can trade for that would fit that mold, and what position would he play?
Man, I'm gonna have to do some research, but I mean, it would have been great if the Dodgers would have never got Trey Turner, for the Angels to go out there and get a guy like that. That would have been the premier guy to get.
True.
You know what I mean? If Ward wasn't so hot, I would have liked the Angels to go after a guy like a Cedric Mullins from the Orioles.
Okay.
He would have been a fun guy to get because, you know, the speed, the ability to make contact, good defense, you know, and the Orioles aren't exactly an elite team. So that would have been a guy to look at. But, you know, with the way Taylor Ward's been playing, I mean.
And Mullins is an outfielder, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So
he's a center fielder, though. So you'd have, if you were to trade for him, you'd have to make sure that he's willing to play one of the corner outfield spots.
Wow. Yeah, see, that's the thing, because the way it's constituted right now, we don't really have. I mean, unless you're going to part ways with Trout and an Adele, you can't use another starter out there. So we'd have to look towards an infielder. I like that. I like that pull of yours with Turner. I think that would be a brilliant move. He's actually
would have been, yeah.
He's a free agent. Yeah.
Yep. He's a free agent after this year, and I mean, I would love nothing more than for the Angels to try to get him, because, you know, he's a speedy guy. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about him not living up to a contract, because his speed, you know, doesn't impact his bat. It doesn't impact, it impacts his defense to an extent, but he's good defensively. He's going to give you some good at bat. He's basically a Tyler Wade who can hit.
See, that'd be the beautiful thing. And just be like, what, you know, he's going to probably demand a good contract coming off a Dodger year where he's going to put up numbers.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, it would be nice to have someone like that to lead off, to give a threat to get on base at all times. We'll just have to see if that's going to work itself out, either what we have in the farm system or on the team. Someone steps up. But as of now, I mean, that leadoff spot is a gigantic hole, because Taylor, like you mentioned, Taylor Ward, ideally you would like him in a power spot, you know, instead of leading off. But no one's doing what he's doing, so you got to have him where he's at.
Yeah, so I mean, shortstop, Second base seems to be the move that the Angels might make at the deadline. And like you said, it's got to be a guy who's speed. It's got to be a guy who can set the table at the top of the lineup because the Angels do need a true leadoff hitter. I just don't know who that's going to be, and maybe that's something that we figure out as the time comes, a little closer.
True, because we definitely have this month here of June, which is going to start here in a couple of days, which is going to test this team, and we're going to see where they're at, and then we're going to see how aggressive they're going to be come deadline. We all agree right now, despite of what how early it still is, this team should be a buyer because whether or not they were to fall, worst case scenario, games out of first place and not be able to be close to Houston, they're going to be in the wild card mix the whole way. So they're going to have to make some additions here to get better and to get more consistent.
I wonder how fast Ryan McMahon from the Rockies is. He's a career 245 hitter. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
He's batting 261 right now, but I mean,
well, my thing is we got to start keeping an eye on teams that are in last place. Like you got to look at Pittsburgh. You got to look at Cincinnati. Philadelphia has not been that great. They could fall back. Miami.
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore, teams like that, and start scouting them, man, to see what we can possibly offer them.
Yeah, I mean, this will be an interesting conversation to have for the next couple episodes, right? We're only going to get closer and closer to the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see, what's going to happen with the Angels. Naturally, there will be injuries. I mean, they've happened already. We've kind of already had the injuries, and it's funny. I mean, I don't think our injury situation's improved right now than it was last year. We have a ton of injuries right now, but the difference is we're winning games.
Absolutely.
And we have some depth.
Yeah, the yoga's paying off, but I'm hoping that we have a second annual trade deadline show like we did last year. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know who we're gonna get super hyped about trading. Last time when I mean, you want to talk about Roger Lutz creaming himself? It's nothing compared to when they traded Andrew Heaney away. You had that same level of excitement, my brother.
Oh yeah, dude. It was orgasmic.
Yeah, exactly.
I was super happy.
I think we all were.
Yeah. All right. So if you got anything else, man, that might be the episode for today.
Yeah, I mean, it was a short series. That's why we had to throw in a little bit of this extra filler, but
Absolutely. And then the Toronto series is currently going on right now. But we'll talk a lot about the 4-game series upcoming here in the next few days, probably Sunday when we do our recap of that and our look ahead to the Yankees road trip. So that should be a lot of fun. We'll get into that. And because it looks like the Angels will be facing Cortez over there. So that's going to be pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Game 1. All right, Fernando, for Todd Fox and the other co-host.
Fernando Mendez.
Don't you have like a catchphrase you want to use right here?
Viva los Angelitos.
There you go. Later.